Please adjust the slider until the computer is barely visible. Well, I mean, it's barely visible as is, but okay. Yeah, I'm not the type that'll just put it all the way up there. No, but I'd say that's about good. Please adjust the slider until the dog and the cat are friends. What is this? Really? Okay, fine, whatever. There we go. Please adjust the slider until the number 5 becomes the number 9. Now he's messing with me. Alright. Wait, what is this? Smiley face. Document icon. Really? Flag. There's a 9. What else is on here? Telephone. B. Bike. Ambulance. 9. Okay, so technically this is right. Oh, okay. There you go. Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider. Oh my god, what is this thing? Okay. Whee! Which of the two made-up words below is most appealing to you? Occuboinkle? Occuboinkle? Or a scrum tush? Whatever. Occuboinkle. Please don't adjust the slider. Well, you're just gonna tell me not to do it and expect me not to do anything? Alright, I'll be nice. I will be nice this one time. Do you know what time it is right? You are not going to ask me for the exact time again. Yes, I know what time it is. Is the time that it is right now the correct time? It should be, unless you reset the thing on me again. What is time, anyway? Why is this a yes or no question? Yes. Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? I'm sure there's plenty. Help. Is this like a cry for help? What? What? Alright. Will you come back to visit me? Why is there no maybe here? There should be a maybe somewhere in this area. A maybe. There's no comfortable in between. Yeah, sure, I'll come back and visit. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Stanley Parable 2. Yeah, I guess we're playing the Stanley Parable 2 now. This was the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, but now it's the Stanley Parable 2, so... you know what, I still haven't quite figured out exactly what's going on this time around. But let's just hop right back into it.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Alright, we've heard the story of Stanley before. Okay, back in the office. There's still balloons out there. Alright, let's see what has changed. Meeting today. Oh, that's fun. I don't want to go to a meeting. Wait.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Oh, that's right. Happy 12th birthday, stepniece. Figurine Finders Committee meeting today. Are they really holding a meeting over those? Bucket. I still don't know why this thing is roped off. That's so weird. Okay,
Stanley
why
lifted
not?
the
We'll take
bucket
the
into
bucket.
his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
We now have the bucket. 416.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, you know what? The last time we entered the door on the left, we ended up somewhere. You know what? We're going right this time. Forget
This was
him.
not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Oh, the bucket said that.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Okay.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Or did Stanley?
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Okay.
Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Yep, like jumping off. Danger everywhere.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I
Are you
suppose that
serious?
would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Okay. I guess we don't have a choice. What is this?
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a
What?
hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Are you serious? Oh, come on.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
Is this a trick question?
Incorrect. It is a
What?
3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Is that a no?
Incorrect.
What?
This is a bucket.
That's a bucket?
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Okay, you know what?
Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Huh?
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Oh my god. No.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Yes.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence, and yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm
What?
going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
Oh, are you
Okay,
serious?
here we go.
Don't take my bucket.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every
Everything
single
was a
thing in the
bucket.
game was a bucket.
It was
Oh
all a
my
bucket.
God, I had no idea. How could...
How did you not
Except
know?
me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you,
Oh my god.
Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is
Well, that's a good
wonderful
thing.
news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's
Oh, good.
delightful to get some clarity
Good,
on
good,
that
good,
issue,
good.
but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Hmm. Here we go, back to figuring out what changed. Still that thing about the meeting.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Alright. Hey, the rope's gone. Finally.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
I still got a bucket. Alright, well that door's still closed.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Alright, we'll go on the left. There will be a reward for finding them all. Warehouse access plans. Procedure 1. Plan to allow ease of access past fence. Construct bridge to allow collection of shiny float. Retrieve Chris's remains from warehouse floor. Construct new structurally sound bridge. We need more plans. I think I'm missing something here. Mission status. Large room, lots of boxes. Inside of a sequel exit. Nearby fire. Okay. So this must be the locations for all of the bobbleheads. This is some kind of game. Gotta collect them all. Trust the completionist instinct. Why wouldn't they just tell us something will happen? This investigation, this room, they feel pointless. Weird spinning figures. Alright. Follow clues provided by employee 416. We can do it. Red room. Okay. Thank you. Good luck. They really put a PowerPoint in here about how to find those things. That's pretty cool. I won't deal with the closet this time. Let's have a
Coming
head.
to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Hey, there's one.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
I was a bit more partial to mini stands, but okay. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see, do I want to go through here? Yeah, why not?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence
where's my
of
bucket?
a bucket.
Where's my bucket?
Now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to
Are
me,
you serious?
Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, it froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley
I
doubled
see.
over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a
I am
woman
the
named
bucket.
Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how
Oh my
everything is
God.
predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. All right. One more. Let's see what the narrator threw at us this time.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Can only do one at a time. Okay.
Warmth
All right, bucket, let's
spread
go.
through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
All right. Alright, so it did scratch one off. It says a large room, lots of boxes, some were both red and blue, nearby a fireplace. I know where the fireplace is. It's in the boss's room. Alright, so we'll head up there.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Still locked. Okay. Because the boss knows what the boss says goes. If the boss has suffered losses, then that's what the boss chose. I don't think there's anything in here. Nope, nothing in there. Okay.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his
Actually
bliss
did.
of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket
Uh-oh.
guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Hey.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it.
Figlies.
I'm sure it will
Figlies.
come to me.
Figlies. Just go with Figlies.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
It's my comfort bucket. Don't make fun of me.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Did we? This says escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Ooh.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Yeah, I'm
At this point,
escaping.
Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Don't care. We're escaping. Oh my god. What the heck?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace
Oh my
the bucket.
god.
But
Okay,
what use is a
you know
sense
what?
of
Give me a
ease
break
when you're about to
here.
be crushed to death? This
can
is
let
what
me
Stanley
out.
thought to himself.
Like, let
And
me
he sort
jump
of
at
kicked
least.
himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell,
Seriously?
Stanley.
Oh, come on.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Hmm? Okay. Stanley
It was a
Parable.
shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Glorious. Is this a bucket museum? The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within, a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibition in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind that may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness? All this over a bucket. And a chair in a corner. Hello, chair in a corner. You don't do anything.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
That number is so wrong. Alrighty then. A bucket with 2 handles. Okay. Inferno bucket. Really? Bucket hieroglyphics? Cave drawing? Complete with music. Okay.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance inevitably is for our own good. You're not going to let me jump off of here, are you? Oh, okay. I guess I can walk on air out here and... Hey!
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off
Are you
with
serious?
another beautiful bucket.
You're gonna kill me now?
Save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and
No,
implements.
no,
if
no, no,
only
no.
we
You
let
can just
Stanley
let me
die
out.
together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader,
No,
as commander
no,
of a
no,
new
no, no,
world, a
no,
new
no.
vision.
Just let me out. You're going crazy for that bucket. All that over the bucket. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm gonna leave it off here. Next time, I guess we'll have to figure out something else. Maybe there's more to the bucket than meets the eye. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. And I will see you in the next one. We'll be coming back to this real soon. Take care.